Hi there, Andre here from Peak Motorcycles, and I'm at Eicma 2025. And I'm here on the SWM stand, which every year it just seems to grow and get bigger and bigger. Now, SWM is an Italian brand from the 1970s that's been resurrected, as so many have, with some investment from China. Now, I've actually ridden some of these bikes. I did a weekend with Offroad Motorcycles Adventures Portugal in May of this year, and they run some SWMs. So they run the 300 and the 500 Enduro bike. I know that sometimes when these brands get resurrected, it's just essentially a rebadge, and in this case it is as well. However, what they've rebadged is actually their Husqvarna. I think it's an FE300, FE400, FE500 are the two bikes that are essentially the SWMs. Now, I rode both of them, the 300 and the 500. 500 is probably a bit much for me and my level of enduro riding, especially in soft sand. But the 300 I absolutely loved. So I'm going to show you around what they have on the stand here. As you can see around me right now, there are a lot of quads and ATVs. So I'm probably going to skip over a lot of that. Sorry about that if that's really what you're here for, but it's a motorcycle show and I'm a motorcycle channel. So yeah, I'll maybe show you a couple of them, but otherwise I'm going to focus on the bikes here on the stand. Here we go. In a world of small displacement cruisers that look big, this actually looks fairly small and is a Stormbreaker 1200. I'm sure somebody had told me this was actually related to a Harley or another of the big American V-twins, and I wouldn't be surprised. Over there it's also available in the black, and then again in here in a very sort of sparkly red colour. The fit and finish on these is great. They have been modernised. I'm just looking at the switch gear on there. That's not out of the catalogue, that's been designed for this bike, and even that dash looks pretty good. You know, those indicators that are in there have been very much designed to fit the aesthetic of this bike. If I just come over to the other side now, we have a naked bike, and again, you know, really nicely designed. Nice switch gear, nice dash. Yeah, not a lot of information about what this actually is, which doesn't help me when I'm coming into this without really knowing the full range. But anyway, let me go to something I do know. So here we have the RS500R. This is one of the bikes that I rode in Portugal earlier this year. For those of you who are familiar with the Husqvarna, this may look familiar to you, but if I give you a close-up, you can see a lot of the detail on there. So this is not some budget enduro bike. This is a proper, full-on 500cc single, and yeah, they go really well. Next up is the SWM RS300R. Now, this is actually the bike that I'd ridden in Portugal, and I loved it. It was very much, I think, my level of expertise. The 500 I found a little bit much, especially in the sand, if I got a bit inconsistent with the throttle, can we call it that? I mean, I was all over the place, but Rui was very patient with my inabilities to ride too quickly. This RS300R, you know, really was a cracking bike. If you want to see some of the detail, yeah. It's not a brand new engine. I mean, it is stamped SWM all over, but I believe it is Husqvarna derived. Hopefully that's an interesting thing for you to see up close. Hopefully you can hear me. There is a lot of sound here with the music. And the same bike in the 125cc variant. So yeah, you know, proper full-on enduro bikes. You know, it's not brand new, the latest technology, but it is not, you know, some 125 that's just been rebadged. You know, these are you know, designed as enduro engines and enduro bikes, and SWM have done it very well. We now transition into the similar bikes, but again in the Supermoto. So here we have the 125, the 125R. Here we have the Inter 650 with a lady who is showing it off. It's the only example I have on the stand, so thank you to her for showing that bike. Yeah, that's the 550, sorry, ERS here at SWM. This is just one of 4 sidecar outfits they've got here. This is the SWM Urban 525, fully accessorised up with spotlights and luggage racks wherever you look, and even that passenger seat in the sidecar looks pretty good. Next up we have this one in the cream colours. I think this is the same sidecar outfit once again as the Urban 525. I guess the other 2 are as well, in the green, and then finally there with this gentleman and the lady is sitting in the black. Rather than time to show off a few new things that I don't think I'd seen when I covered their stand previously. So here we have the Versante 550, which is a 550cc parallel twin by the look of it. It comes fully luggaged up. Yeah, quite nicely finished. You know, big old bright screen up there. You know, there's a lot of bikes in this category that are now coming through. We don't get them all in the UK, but that one looks, yeah, pretty good. It's something a little bit different. It's called the SWM Super 6, and it is a 650 single scrambler. I don't know if I've seen one of those yet at Eicma, but yeah, I actually quite like the look of that. It's sort of like part retro, part modern, with the you know, the very pointy front mudguard, conventional forks, but you know, done in like a champagne colour, which looks kind of cool. Looks like there is some adjustment down there at the bottom, but certainly looks retro, and I guess the forks are in keeping with that. You see the braced handlebar up there. Yeah, no, I really like the look of that. I think that's probably going to be my thumbnail picture for the stand. The other bike here is what they call the Bumblebee concept. Certainly looks a little bit weird, a little bit like a transformer, and I'm wondering if that is what it's based on. The last few bikes that I have here are all scooters. So this one is the SC250, doing some fancy things with the lights at the front there. Yeah, I mean, that looks fine. I don't know a lot about scooters, but if SWM scooters are your sort of thing, that might be of interest. And then beside it we have this, which is the SC250X Twin, a bit more sort of off-roady. There seem to be two sorts of these off-roady scooters, some of which just have the name, or maybe have an X in the name, and others where they've actually gone to the trouble of fitting the slightly bigger wheels, the tubeless wheels, as they have done in this case. A little bit more ground clearance, and yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, the last one to show you here is this one, which is the CR200. I guess it's a 200cc single, probably. Looks a bit like a scooter, a bit like a regular bike. Yeah, I'm looking for a gear lever and don't see one, so I'm guessing it's just a scooter that has been made to look like a cruiser. And just to finish off the stand, because people had asked me about scooters, we have their Seafly 125 and a slightly more adventure-y one called a Venturo 125. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the SWM stand at Eicma 2025. So you have it, that is the end of my video. Hopefully that's been a little bit interesting. A bit of mix of bikes between Enduros, which are based on the Husqvarnas, then those cruisers, and then a load of scooters. Yeah, there's a couple of others in there for the mix, but hopefully that was useful. And if you haven't heard of SWM and they look interesting, please look them up. Right then, see you on the next one.